Hello everybody and welcome to That's Football. England issue a Jadon Sancho warning. Could play less than half an hour in this Euros tournament when you think about it. Also, Spurs issue a warning to their fans of more trophyless seasons to come with the new manager announcement imminent. And we'll also be talking about the transfer of Kylian Mbappe and the arrival of four big teams that have yet to play in the Euros. We'll be talking about them as well. But first of all, before we talk about the Sancho story to start off with, just want to say big shout out to Manscaped for sponsoring the show this morning. Europe's best football is back this summer for the Euros, and you can avoid a Marouane Fellaini bush in your midfield and clean up your midsection with Manscaped being proud sponsors of That's Football. Be a proper lad this tournament and shave your bits with the best and global leaders in below-the-waist grooming. Manscaped join over 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you. 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code FOOTY at manscaped.com. The link's in the video description. We've all had those close encounters when trying to make our areas below the waist look as good as they do above. As I always said, trim the grass to make the yard look bigger, and that is why Manscaped's engineering team have just released the perfect, greatest ball hair trimmer ever created and just released the new and improved Lawnmower 3.0. So now you can shave your most important possessions with no fear of injury. Just thinking about ball trimmer. Could they not call it like them? I mean, I don't want to associate Messi with that sort of thing, but ball trimmer, the best? I don't know. The Manscaped Razor is a super premium and boasts a 90-minute battery life, and it comes with an LED light as well, and it's waterproof. It also comes with its own charger. And because Manscaped care about all the nuts that watch this show, nuts being a thing on balls, they're giving a huge 20% off discount to you just by using the code FOOTY. The link's in the video description. Top quality products, and as I said, the link's in the video description. So thank you very much to Manscaped, who also make a contribution to Testicular Cancer Society to bring awareness to testicular cancer as well. Links in the video description for that. Let's move on with the show, and thanks to Manscaped. So Jadon Sancho, I'm trying to think. I could have led that into Jadon Sancho needs to show some balls maybe, but I don't think it comes down to that. I think that ultimately Sancho issued an England warning this morning because, and look, people will say Sancho had a sore throat last week. People will say that Ben Chilwell's fitness maybe isn't where it should be. But Sancho's been with the England squad longer than anybody else. He wasn't in the Champions League final like Chelsea and Man City. He wasn't in the Europa League like Man United players. He's been part of that England squad longer than others, and yet he can't make the bench. In Southgate's own words, he basically said it's sad that a couple of players have got to leave out, and he's left them out because he needs cover in other positions. So Ben White, who wasn't even going to be part of this tournament, he makes the bench. Chilwell and Sancho don't. But it is a warning for Sancho. And look, as I said, some people might say, well, it's only because of this, it's only because of that. For me, it's about Jadon Sancho, to me, in my mind, should be starting games for England, and yet he's being left out for the bench. So that's the conversation I'm interested in, is not that Jadon Sancho's not making the bench, but why is he in the conversation for not making the bench? For me, he is the talent that should be, a player that we're talking about. But I think that realistically there is a real chance that he will play less than half an hour in this tournament. And people say, well, what you want about? I can't see him starting games for England. I mean, you've got Grealish didn't start yesterday. Rashford didn't start yesterday. Grealish didn't even get on the pitch. Sancho is behind Grealish and Rashford, and they're not even starting games at the moment. So is he going to make changes against Scotland? Probably not. You win that, you don't make changes against Czech Republic. You win that, you don't make changes into the Newt stage. So yeah, there might be opportunities for Grealish and Rashford off the bench, but if Sancho's not even on the bench, how's he going to get minutes? And as somebody said, I saw someone talking about this last night actually. If you take Sterling off, you're going to bring Rashford on for that explosive pace that Sterling's got. If you take a Foden off, you're going to bring Grealish on because he's knocking on the door. Where does Sancho come on if he's on the bench? He's almost like the second sub. Now, his hope is that you can make 5 subs in this tournament, but it's not looking good for Sancho. And I think that in relation to England, look, maybe next season he's a United player and he starts to really show what he's all about in the Premier League, and Southgate really starts to take notice of that. Maybe Southgate's the sort of coach that doesn't really look at the European leagues, although he obviously looks at La Liga because you've got Trippier, a right-footed right-back, playing at left-back. But it is a concern for Jadon Sancho, and look, the conspiracy theories will say he's been left out because he's focusing on a move to Manchester United, which is distracting him and annoying Southgate. There might be something in that. I wouldn't be surprised if the press did pick on that. But ultimately, I've seen Sancho playing for England recently. I don't think he justifies a spot ahead of Grealish, Foden, Mount, Rashford, Sterling. So he's sixth. I mean, well, Saka as well. He's a player that can play as an attacking midfielder as well. So he's probably 7th choice at the moment going into this major tournament. And that's a worry for Sancho, because it's like, even if he does get a place on the bench, I can't see Southgate using him. So a bit of a warning for him there. And, you know, who knows what's going on behind the scenes, but he's clearly not high up on the list for Southgate at the moment. In relation to the Euros, good start for England yesterday. We now move into the Spain, France, Germany, I don't know why I've gone American, and Portugal stage over the next 2 days. We are going to be doing watch-alongs on this channel, starting off with Scotland this afternoon at 2 o'clock, then it's Poland at 5, and then Spain tonight, and then tomorrow you got Portugal in front of 100,000, no, I don't know whether it's 100,000, 100% of the capacity in Hungary. I think that's happening tomorrow. And then on the evening we've got the biggest game of the first round, really, which is the last game of the first round of fixtures, which is France against Germany, which I'm really looking forward to. The favourites, the hot favourites, France as well. Which is interesting, because there is talk that Kylian Mbappe is going to leave PSG. Has dropped a few hints that, you know, he may be off, where he would go. Could he come to the Premier League? I mean, I'd love to see Mbappe in the Premier League, but it does seem that it would be a sort of Real Madrid thing, although I don't know where they're getting their money from. They still think they're running in a Super League with 3 teams in it. So, interesting to see how France do tomorrow. But bringing it back to the Premier League, of course, and I know it's difficult. I mean, look, we're talking about Sancho in England, and I'm more than happy to talk about that. We've got an update about Sancho to United on the United Stand show this morning, but I do feel like it's about the Euros. You know, we don't get these international tournaments very often. And I do actually like just to settle in for a couple of weeks. And, you know, once you get past the first couple of weeks, the games are, you know, there's a few days in between, you can have a rest. But, you know, transfers and every other talk, it's just a little bit like, yeah, well, that's nice. I want to focus on the Euros. But Spurs are focusing on a new manager. And it's not good news. It's Fonseca from Roma, who got sacked by Roma to get Mourinho, who Spurs sacked. So it's a weird Spursy sort of merry-go-round there, where you sack Mourinho and then you get the manager that Roma sacked to get Mourinho. I mean, look, I watch a bit of Italian football. I haven't watched a lot of it this season, to be honest, but I did watch Roma play against Man United in the semi-final, which Fonseca was in charge of. And yeah, Man United have got the better quality players, so he's always punching above his weight, and at times they were a decent side, but it's not the sort of manager that's going to come into Spurs and scare the rest of everybody else. And it's such a shame he didn't get Conte. If he got Conte, I think people would have looked at Spurs and gone, they're serious. I think with Fonseca, it's like, it's a Spurs-type manager. It's a manager that you expect them to fail. If they do well, you sort of pat them like a little dog and go, well done, well done. You know, you're never going to bite me, but well done. And I think that Spurs are that team that, you know, it looks nice, it looks friendly, but there is no bites. There is no fear that they're going to come and, you know, really challenge for anything. And I just think that Fonseca is that sort of manager. And ultimately, is he going to draw in Harry Kane to stay at the club? I mean, Harry Kane might stay at the club because he can't get a move, but I don't think that. I think if Conte had come in, maybe there was a project there that Harry Kane might go, you know what? But I think Harry Kane may well stay at Spurs, but he's not going to stay at Spurs because they brought Fonseca in, and he's not going to stay at Spurs because they're going to be title contenders. So I think it's a very Spurs. I think if I was a Spurs fan, I'd just be very unexcited by that, whereas if you'd got Conte, it could have been something a little bit different. So lackluster for Spurs, but look, that's Premier League. We're all about the Euros. 2 o'clock today, Scooby-Doo, it's Scotland against Czech Republic in Hampden Park, and who's gonna win it? I don't know, but I've got a pint of Iron Brew and a battered Mars bar, and I'm ready to go. So Scott McTominay, it's time to deliver. Scooby-Doo, looking forward to it at 2. Scooby-Doo against Czech Republic. It's 2 o'clock. Looking forward to that because it's in England's group. Obviously, we're playing Scotland on Friday as well. The Battle of Britain, they used to call it. Well, that's a bit offensive, I think. So it's Scotland against England on Friday, but it's Scotland against Czech Republic tonight. I'd like to see this afternoon. I'd like to see a draw because it just, you know, gives England a nice big cushion. But I'm looking forward to that one. Spain tonight, I'm looking forward to as well. You know, what are Spain all about? People say Spain are the dark horses. I look at their squad and I just don't see it. But maybe we're going to see something from Spain that I haven't, we're not expecting. It's weird to say that Spain could be a dark horse, really, but maybe they are. I mean, for me, France, Portugal, maybe Italy. They're the 3 hot favourites I've seen so far going into the tournament, and, you know, actually in the tournament with Italy, I was impressed with them, but Portugal and France coming into the tournament look like the favourites. Please smash a like on the video, make sure you subscribe, bottom right hand corner, and remember, Manscaped, 20% off with the code footy. Links in the video description. Don't end up with a Marouane Fellaini in your midfield. use the ball hair trimmer from Manscaped. Links in the video description. And they've also got these as well if you like me, getting on a little bit. Nasal trimmer. Very good products. 20% off. Give it a try. Links in the video description. I'll speak to you soon for Scotland against Czech Republic.